Good afternoon, good people. How y'all doing today on this Wednesday? Winter storm Wednesday. Y'all come on in the room. I'll check in with y'all today. Just got back in. The roads aren't too bad out here in Burnsville, but seen a couple of people fishtailing. So if you do have to go out, please be safe. Drive slow wherever you have to go. It's still gonna be there. Do not even rush. I'm trying to fix this camera. Learning how to use all my little tools I got here, y'all. So bear with me. Anyway, come on in, share the broadcast, like the broadcast, hop on in, drop a comment if you have a comment. If you want to hop on camera, just send a request and I'll invite you to come on in. Give y'all a few minutes. It is cold outside. Just a few disclaimers. Goodness, I can't even talk today, y'all. I wasn't on last Wednesday because I was not feeling good. I ended up having a sinus infection or whatever. So I was not feeling the best last week, but I am feeling 100% better. What's up, Dale? How you doing? Feeling 100% better today. So, on a few disclaimers, y'all. So the things that I will be talking about today is my own personal experience. I'm not speaking for anyone else that's out there dating. So what I have to say is all my experience. They're my truth. If you have something to say, comment, feel free to come on so we can hear your perspective, we can hear your opinion, we can hear your experiences. Also, there is still the Holiday Village going on downtown Minneapolis, across the street from Target. The last day is on December 24th, so I still have a few more of my satin line hats, beanie hats on sale. This color is actually sold out, but I do have charcoal gray and light gray available. Just a shameless plug. What up, Cuzzo? Also for women who read out there, I'm trying to add you on because I've started a really good book, which is Michelle Obama's book. Really good book. It's called The Light We Carry. I just started it yesterday. It's a really good book. The book I read before that was Viola Davis, Discovering Me book. Really good book. So I hope y'all Black folks out there like to read. Women particularly. I really like reading self-help books is why I'm reading this one right now. But just a few disclaimers for y'all. Anyway, y'all come on in the room. So the topic I'm going to talk about today is expectations and standards, setting them while you date. So I'm going to be very transparent as I can with y'all on here. What's up, cuz? Hey, Taquita. So I was dealing with a guy, and I was calling it a situationship, or what was I saying? A single ship is what I was calling it. We were both two single people just hanging out, doing whatever, came about, going out, hanging out, going over each other's house, spending time with each other, whatever the case may be. And I got to a point that I found myself being real disappointed while dating him or getting to know him, whatever the case may be. But I find myself getting frustrated because at the end of the day, I'm like, well, what is this? What are we doing? And when he wouldn't come through on things, I would get disappointed. And I had to have a very honest conversation with myself of, why am I so disappointed? Why am I so frustrated? Give you an example. Last week on Monday night, I didn't feel good. And so he called and he was like, yo, what's going on? I was like, bruh, I don't feel good. I think I'm coming down with something, this little bug that's going on. He's like, all right, cool. You want me to come make you a little hot, little tidy or whatever, make you feel better? I was like, yeah, that'll be fine. So he gets off work and handle his business or whatever. And I'm like, yo, what's up? You still coming over to make this hot, tidy, whatever? He's like, nah, I'm just going to go home. okay, I was disappointed because I didn't understand why he would ask me to do something and he didn't follow through with it. But even more, I had to ask myself, why are you truly disappointed? And I said, because I expected him, for one, to follow through with his word, but also take care of me because I don't feel good. I took care of you when you didn't feel good. I expect you to do that for me. That was not the case, y'all. So I was disappointed. And this was not the first time with me being disappointed with this person. So I sent him a text because at that time my voice was going pretty bad. And I just texted him like, yo, I'm really disappointed in you for asking me if you can do something for me to make me feel better. And then you don't. Like, what is that about? And I was like, you know what? I'm just tired of being disappointed. Whatever. I'm good. You take care. And I hope you get better. Something was going on with him. I think his finger. Something was wrong with his finger or whatever. And I just left it as that. Hey, sis, what's going on?
Hey,
How you doing?
good. I need that follow through too.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, I'm just sharing a story about like when I really had this conversation with myself of when do you start setting standards and expectations in the date when you're dating somebody. Um, and I don't even know if I would. How do you even define dating? Is a question I would ask myself. Like, were we dating? Were we just getting to know each other? Were we just two single people just hanging out? Is that considered dating? So I guess you can say that's the first question. How do you know when you're dating someone? First of all. But yeah, that's the first question I want to throw out there to y'all. How do you know when you're dating somebody? You there, sis?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on like what you guys talk about, like when you first start talking.
Yeah.
I don't know, like it, I mean, when you get to know somebody, you want to put your expectations out there. I feel like right away,
Hmm.
so that you know like so they know and you know exactly what both of you want. Because
Yeah.
if you're not saying, being direct about everything and just waiting to see what they say, then they might not be what you're looking for. They might not want marriage. They might want to just mess around or whatever the case may be. And it's just like you, as people that are out there and single, need to know that right away.
I get that. I definitely agree with that. And that is a conversation we did have. So I guess I can honestly say we were dating, but
Hmm.
I don't think it was gonna sorry adding people. It's gonna go any further than what it went at the end of the day. So and
Yeah.
so I was just like, but I was still disappointed. I was still hurt. I was still frustrated because I'm like, dude, I don't feel good. Like, okay, we've been in this thing for a little minute. You're not seriously about to come through on
Hmm.
something that you offered. Like that really pissed me off at the end of the day. So that was kind of like my final strain because we have been talking for a while. Um, and so there has been quite a few things I was disappointed of. So this was kind of like the final strain. And it hasn't been the first time I didn't feel good and he didn't come through. So I was like, you know what? I know this is also a friendship, but you're not even
Hmm.
coming through as a friend. And so I had to ask myself, will he come through if it's not a benefit to him? So I had to ask myself that question. Just be real with myself. I'm trying to read y'all comments here. Sorry, y'all. I prefer dating and not dating until you both say you are. Yep, that's true. Thank you for that. Yeah, so my next question is, so when do you begin to talk about standards when you're dating someone? Should you talk about those right away after you've been on a couple of dates? What's your opinion on that, y'all? Y'all tap in, chime in on the chat, and answer that question for me. When do you begin to talk about standards when you're starting to date someone?
It's just like everything right away.
Right away?
Yeah.
Okay. What y'all think? Mark, I don't know if you said you was gonna hop on, man. You gonna hop on. You don't gotta turn your camera on. y'all be, y'all think y'all be nervous about talking. How y'all think I feel? I gotta sit here and show my face. But it's all good. This is helping me face my fears at the end of the day because I know I have a bigger platform to speak in front of people. So this is my practice, y'all. Yes, right away when it is organically comes up in the conversation. I like that, organically come up in the conversation. Okay. So let me ask y'all this. What's the difference between standards and expectations? What's the difference between standards and expectations? All right, Daddy, I just added you, so you should be able to hop on.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
You want to put this on camera? How are you?
Good to see you. I'm glad you asked to hop on. How's your day going?
Topic, child. This is a good topic.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I can't wait to share this one, y'all. I think organically as well. Yep. Hey, Barry, how you doing? Okay, so my next question is, what is the difference between standards and expectations?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
All right, how you doing?
I'll answer this.
Okay.
I'm good. You. I think standards is kind of like, what you already established, what you tolerate and won't tolerate.
Mm-hmm.
And expectations is like what you potentially may expect from the person that you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe that's the difference.
Okay.
Is that you already have you already established what you already want, and the expectation is the potential.
Okay. Good.
I
Because
kind of
it says
feel like
are
those are two
more.
different words for the same thing.
Say it again, sis. I'm sorry.
I kind of feel like it's two different words for the same thing because it depends
Mm-hmm.
on who you ask. Based on
Okay.
that person's vocabulary, a set of standards and a set of expectations can fall on the same list. They could be the exact same list of things.
Okay. And then Cuzzo says standards are more so your morals. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna lean towards that because my standards, there are things that I have set in place that how I treat myself. I don't ask anyone to do anything for me that I can't do for myself at the end of the day. So yes, I do have a standard of how I prefer to be treated, how I carry myself, how I'm out here portraying myself, X, Y, and Z. And if you can't respect that or follow along, then I gotta chuck the deuces. So I think that's where standards is. And then like Mark says, Mark is like expectations is what you expect from the other person or the people that you're dating. And so with that said, I will ask y'all, where did your standards come from? What molded your expectations when dating someone? Just to give you an example, I'm old school, so some of my expectations and standards was, of course, for a man to open my door, for a man to pick me up from my house, um, for him to bring me flowers. That was what I was conditioned. Nowadays, I don't want you to know where I live. I will meet you at the spot. You're not about to know where I live, like not right off the bat. So I wouldn't say that's my standard anymore. But of course, like being a gentleman, opening the doors, offering to open the doors, things like that. But I also know every man isn't raised or conditioned that way. But if it's something that I prefer, then I say, hey, babe, I love when you open the door for me. I just feel such like a queen and a woman when you do those things for me. So I think when your expectations or your standards are not being met, I think it's a good conversation. I think it's a good conversation to have with that person so you both know what each other is expecting at the end of the day. Does anybody want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I'll chime in. I definitely think it ties into your culture, how you were raised, like what you said to piggyback off of that, what you've seen and heard when you were growing up, the things that you saw that you liked, and
Yeah.
then maybe things that you didn't see Like if you never saw someone open a door and you were
Mhm.
like, I want that.
Yeah.
Or I think it also can tie into your past experiences because I used to be the same way where I would have people pick me up at my house. I had one bad experience and I was like, no, bro, I'll meet you. You don't have to pick me up. I'll
Yep.
meet you. It's cool. I'll meet you in a public place. I'm be in my
Yep.
own vehicle, be able to leave when I'm ready to go. And then
Exactly.
I also think it also has to do with you being able to know yourself well enough to know your love languages because that's going to tailor your expectations. If
Mm.
your number one love language is physical touch, then somebody who doesn't like to be touched maybe might not fit you. Same thing with if your expectation is gifts and then you meet somebody that doesn't celebrate holidays, doesn't believe in birthdays, that may be an issue for you.
Mhm. Mhm. I definitely agree with you. I think I don't want to, not the last time, but the time before we spoke about love languages
Mm-hmm.
and what that means, like how people receive love and also how they give love as well. I think that's a really good. I liked how you tie those two in together. I actually went on a couple of dates with a guy, and he was very he gave me a lot of affirmations, I can say. And I wasn't used to that. So when he would say stuff, it would make me be uncomfortable because I wasn't used to words of affirmation on the extent how he gave them. Like I was like, okay, you're really saying like it, and it wasn't like general compliments, like, oh, you
Like
got some
in
pretty eyes.
depth,
It
deep,
was like
yeah.
in depth, and I was
It's
like,
like
oh, sure,
it's like
okay,
poetic style, speaking to your
right,
soul compliments.
right.
I get it.
And it was consistent, but I let him know like I thought I liked words of affirmation, but how you do it is on a whole different level. And I really appreciated that. But I had to ask myself, why am I feeling awkward or uncomfortable? Or why was it hard to receive the compliments? And again, it's because I wasn't used to them on the deeper level, just the surface level. But the fact that they was
Hmm.
consistent, I was like, that's what's up. I really appreciate that. So that's what's up. Okay. Um, I think a lot of my standards and expectations. I'm a comedy romance kind of person, so I used to like a lot of movies. Um, he was speaking life into your spirit. Yes, he was Amber. Yes, he was things that I was not used to. I like romance comedy, so I think I have. I'm not gonna say I think. I know I have like this fairy tale ending and expectations when it comes to dating. Like one of my favorite movies is Brown Sugar. Like I love that movie. And it's because they were really able to base their friendship off what they had in common. And I think um, with this guy that I was dating, I was really disappointed because we have a really good friendship. But when we try to get to date each other, I was like, you suck at being somebody that I can date. But friendship, oh, you what's up? Because I was never able to be around somebody and it's just peaceful. It's just calm. We never argue. I felt protected. My soul felt at ease. I felt relaxed. I can be a person who pop off really quick, but with him, I always felt calm, you know. Um, and I think that's where the disappointment came from because the friendship was so good. I expected the relationship to be like that, but that wasn't the case. So yeah, yeah,
I have
Um,
noticed that in some scenarios, people are better friends than they are mates.
yeah. What was you gonna say, Mark?
yeah, yeah, same. Like, I guess like friendship is easy because it's like there's really no responsibility.
Yep,
Just like like with dating, it comes, you have responsibility because it's not all about you anymore.
that's true.
For
That is
friendship
true.
is like friendship. You kind of, it's still kind of all about you. You can, you know, it,
Hmm.
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do.
Well, relationship is more work. You don't have to do really no hard work in friendship.
Yeah, that's true. And it seems like the more that I was requesting from him, the more he was kind of pushed back. But I just I expect honesty because him and I have had these conversations of yes, we want to be together. Yes, we want to work towards something. But if that wasn't the case, I honestly wish you would have said that because that's not what I was getting, after our conversation. So I don't think.
And
you know. So that's kind of
And,
where I was lost at.
and I recently had a conversation about that, like friendships between men and women, and my conclusion, my honest conclusion is like uh men and women can be friends. I don't think it's impossible,
Yeah,
but I just say, and I want to specify two heterosexual
yeah,
men and women. I mean, they can only if it's a situation where neither side has any romantic or sexual
hmm
interest in each other.
yeah,
You know, because of the biology. I mean, if you spend too much time with each other, you spend a significant, like,
hmm
the attraction is going to naturally grow. And the, the emotional and the sexual attraction is going to naturally grow because y'all two heterosexual people,
hmm
you know?
hmm I definitely can agree
So,
with that. I can definitely agree with that. Because at
so I
first
believe in,
I didn't look at him like that. I didn't look at him sexually. I wasn't even attracted to him physically. Because we met on a Facebook app, but then we talked on the
yeah,
phone like almost every day, and the chemistry over the phone is what I was attracted to. The conversations is what I was attracted to. But yes, the more that we started to spend time together and hang out, I was like, okay, he is, he's kind of cute. Okay, so that did start to develop feelings, and I'm like, okay, this can be something a little bit more. Okay, I am attracted to him physically, so yeah, there is that difference, mark of um you only could be friends for so long, platonic friends with the opposite sex for so long, before one another starts to become more attractive, more touchy feely with each other and things like that. And I'm like, okay, I gotta pause this because I want more, but I also know my more means marriage, and you're not on the same page as me, so I
Yeah.
won't allow this to go any further. So that's where I had a
I
so
also
that's why I
conversation.
think,
like, oh, go ahead.
oh, go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, no, well, I was just going to say real quick, like, that's why, like, female friends that I do have, like, I limit my interaction with them
Hmm.
and my phone, you know, just for that reason.
Yeah.
Like, if I know I have no romantic or sexual interest, like, I don't want to create, I mean, I don't want to create it, like, by,
Yeah.
increasing my interaction with them. I just limit my interaction,
Hmm.
with them. So I just keep it like
Yeah.
that. So no misunderstandings would happen.
That's good to know. What were you
Yeah,
gonna say, sir?
I was just gonna say that the reason why I believe, like, I do believe men and women that are both heterosexual can be friends. Heterosexuals, two heterosexual can be friends. However, love is not found; it's
Mm-hmm.
formed. And when you are constantly spending time with someone and you are constantly connecting with them and you are building emotional bonds, you are creating love. And
Mm-hmm.
whether you choose to act on that love platonically or try to make it evolve into something more, that's where the men and women friendships come into issue. Like, I think it's really smart that Mark chooses to, like, be mindful of the
Yeah.
amount of time he's giving to his platonic female friends, because that'll help keep it there. But that's part of the reason why there are a lot of married people that will not have single friends of the opposite sex, because they understand that
Mm-hmm.
you can create love with any person you spend too much time with. Like, that's part of the reason why a lot of celebrities fall in love on set. Movies take years to make
Yeah.
sometimes, and you are spending day in and day out with the same person all the time, spending
Yep.
time together, rehearsing all of this stuff. Like, this is how marriages end in celebrity
Yeah.
relationships, and they end up getting with co-stars because they spent too much time with another person.
That's good.
Yeah,
I like
I
that. I
agree.
like
I
that.
agree. Yeah, you hit it right on the head. Like,
Yeah.
at first, like, when you're younger, you don't understand it, but now, you understand it and you know how to move accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I had to put a pretty big dent in between us. It's been like almost 2 weeks since I've talked to this person. He called yesterday. I didn't answer. I called him back today though. and just picked up conversation normal, like, hey, how you been? Missed you. Hope all is well. Hope you're feeling better. It's kind of like we picked up right where we left off. And I just kind of let it be like that, because I'm like, if we're not moving in a relationship or towards a relationship, then I don't need to discuss any further my frustrations and disappointment in the expectations that I have for you. Um, as far as trying to talk to him so he can, so that we can be in a relationship. But if it's just friendship, I'm like, okay, I already expressed to him how I felt that night, how it made me feel. And I was like, okay, I'm just wipe my hands with it, and it'll be just a grain of salt. We'll just pick back up. I know this cannot go any further than a friendship, and I'm okay with that. That's why, that's why doctors cheat with nurses. Yeah, because they do spend a lot of time with each other. What's your comments say,
I
hon? Or
said, or
executives with people?
executives
Yep,
with equal or subordinate staff.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you are spending that quality time. And so, because I do have feelings for this person, not to say that I'm in love, but I love this person because of who they are. And I deeply care for this person because we have talked about so many things. We have a bond or a connection that I've never had with somebody before. Um, I've had them in my house, I've had them around my kid or whatever. And so, of course, there's that care for him. But I have to maintain a certain distance, because if we keep hanging out at that level, I was like, my feelings they're gonna blur everything, because I really care for this person, and I do want a relationship with him, but I also know he has work to do that he's not willing to do right now. And I'm like, I refuse to go in another relationship with a man that's not willing to do the work to heal mentally. Um, because I'm still doing a lot of mental health healing from my traumas and understanding my triggers and understanding all that. And so I prefer a person doing the same work, because it's a struggle when you got two people butting heads and it's all over trauma. I'm triggering you triggering me, because we don't know each other's triggers. A person has to know their triggers and their traumas, so they can know, okay, you're doing something like my mom, and I know you're not my mom, but this is ticking me off. Let me take a breather. But if you don't even know that, you're gonna be mad at this whole new person that initially didn't even plant that seed in you. So that's just what I have to say. I'm a big believer in getting your mental health right, talking to a therapist, and healing
Right.
at the end of the day. But a person has to be willing to do the work. It's hard, and a lot of us don't want to look inside because it hurts. But true healing needs to happen with a lot of us.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I definitely think that if we start to view ourselves the way we view our things, that we
Hmm.
would take better care of ourselves. Because if you look at yourself like a car, you
Yeah,
don't want to have to go take your car to the shop when it breaks down. You get your oil changes, you get your maintenance, you check under the hood, you change your tires, you get them rotated, you
right.
change your windshield wipers, you get it washed. Like, if you treat yourself the way you treat your car, then we would definitely take our mental health a lot more
Mm,
seriously, because there are a lot of people in relationships solely because they have childhood trauma that haven't been addressed. They're attached to people and codependent with people and
mhm.
don't know how to get out of situations because there are things going on that they don't have the ability to see. And there is
Yeah,
such a negative stigma on mental health that needs to be addressed, because it is so important. Just like going to the doctor, you just have
absolutely.
to make sure you're good and you know yourself well enough to be emotionally mature enough to identify your own trauma.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you on that. Before I was single for 2.5 years, I was in a relationship, and there were some things that he did that really triggered me, that really took me back into some hardship, negative situations that I was in. I was like, I had to back up and really read myself and reevaluate, like, okay, yeah, even though he's doing these actions that remind you of something, I still need to work on. I still need to heal and figure out what this is. And from that point, like probably like 2 weeks later, I ended up going to therapy and just working on my childhood traumas, because I was like, it's been a long time. This is still coming up. This is still bothering you. There's still some residue that needs to be had. And so it's it's hard to look yourself in the mirror. I don't want to say hard. It's challenging to look yourself in the mirror and
You,
acknowledge all the things that you have. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's a tough cookie to swallow, pill to swallow, I should say. But I recognize once I do it, I feel more freer.
yeah,
I'm more able to be more honest and transparent and have
yeah.
integrity at the end of the day, and not have to feel like I have to put on this mask every time I go out.
100%. It's a lot easier to live in your truth when you have accepted the reality that you have to recognize your past. There are a lot of people that have a hard time being alone in a room with just
Yep.
themselves. There are a lot of people that can't stand the quiet.
Hmm.
And if those things are things that you struggle with, you need to figure out why. Why don't you want to be alone with your thoughts? What are you
Hmm.
thinking about?
Yep.
Why, you know what I mean? Why
Yep.
do you have a hard time looking yourself in the mirror? Why is the idea of being single so terrifying? Why do you feel like you need to have someone?
Absolutely. And I used to be a codependent person. Like I feel like I can never be alone. Like I feel like someone was wrong on me if I was alone. But that 2.5 years, I learned to date myself, to love myself, to try new things, to figure out as a person, what do I truly like to do? I don't want to have to depend on someone else to make me happy. I want to make myself happy. And if somebody else comes along and can add to that, okay, that's the icing on the cake, you know. But I no further wanted to depend on anyone else to do stuff, and so that's why I say now in a relationship, I don't expect anything from any person that I cannot do for myself. Like I
Yeah,
buy myself flowers, I get my
yeah,
nails done, take myself to the spot, take myself to fancy dinners, I dress
yeah,
up and take myself on dates, you know. I read,
yeah,
I write, I just I explore a lot of things that most people want to do by them with other people. I'm still learning how to do those things by myself and be 100% secure with that. And it
yeah.
actually feels good when people are like, "Oh, are you expecting another?" Nope, just myself. I don't like when they grab all the dishes though, like something wrong with sitting by
I
yourself.
know, like I can't
You
look
could
at
have
the
someone
dishes while I
there.
eat. I
So
feel that. Well, you
that's
know,
to be wise. Yes, we are. We're
I
definitely raised to be mothers and wives and I agree with you.
yeah. So I had said something to a past partner of mine. I stated to them, I was very clear. I had spent some time single. I took some time to get to know myself before entering the relationship, and I
Hmm.
had made it very clear that I love me more than I love you. And if at any point I am no longer content in this situation, I will remove myself. You
Hmm.
are a beautiful accessory to my life, but the core
Yeah,
of my life is me.
yeah,
And they were so offended by the fact that I called them an accessory.
yeah.
And it wasn't until after I left the relationship and they started working on themselves and getting the help that was needed and, you know, recognizing things that were going on with them, they came back to me and they were like, you know what? I appreciate you for telling me that because I get it now.
Hmm.
I'm not supposed to, like, you're not supposed to rely on one person for your happiness. You
No,
have to be happy within yourself.
absolutely,
So I love that you
absolutely.
use the accessory word because
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. If your relationship isn't just an accessory, you need to work on you.
yep. I like that. I like that. And I
Hmm.
really wish people took the time after a relationship to just reflect, and just kind of make sure their core values are still the same. Of course, when we're all in relationships, sometimes we do lose ourselves because, you know, we just want to, there's a new person in our life, you know, so we kind of people please or we do a little bit more. We may go out of our way a little bit more, you know, to just show them that you care and you want to spend time with them. But at the end of the day, I think even in relationships, you don't have to specifically break up to do it. But I think everyone should take the time to just make sure if you are shifting to right or to left, you know, just to center yourself. Okay, these are my core values. These are my morals. These are my expectations. This is not what I'm going to deal with. And I think having those check-ins in relationships, whether that's monthly, you guys go on date night, stay in the house, and just check in with each other. Like, okay, we've been talking for 3 months, babe. You know, let's evaluate our relationship. Do we want to take it to the next level? Is it going where we want it to go? You know, am I giving you what you need? Are you giving me what I need? You know, just I think there I think people should do those check-ins in relationships, but also after they date, so they can know again, okay, I'm way too left. I need to be back in the middle. But again, because a lot of people don't know that they are codependent, they will jump from relationship to relationship to relationship. And I can speak on that because I used to be that person. I used to jump from relationship to relationship, and that's because I didn't want to be alone. Um, I just wanted somebody there, and that's weird because I'm the only child. I never had anyone there. I mean, I hung out with my cousins a lot, and so it could have came from that. Always having my cousins around when I was a kid, but I had to really sit back and analyze the situation. Okay, you need to be okay with being by yourself. And I'm an introvert. I love being by myself. And when I date guys, that's the first thing I say. How I recharge and how I regenerate is by myself. It's nothing against you. It's nothing you did wrong. But for me to recharge, I have to be by myself. I have to spend a good amount of time by myself, reflecting, doing what it takes to make me happy. And I think a lot of people should be able to get there. And I
Hmm.
don't know if that's just an automatic introvert thing. I'm okay with being by myself now. I'm truly okay with that. I be dancing in my house by myself. I be singing in my house by myself. I'm good by myself.
I'm
But
an
again, that
extrovert and
took
I
work.
like to be by myself too, so I understand.
Yeah, and it takes work. It takes a lot of work to get there because I wasn't there probably like 3 4 years ago. I was not there, but I am now. I am now. But again, that comes from healing. Just know that I'm good all by myself. I'm okay. Mark, I
Yeah.
haven't heard you say anything. Did you want to chime in on anything that we have said
I
so
was
far?
listening to y'all, so
Okay.
um, I mean, yeah, I mean that's what you're supposed to do. Like, even when you're in a relationship, you're supposed to have like maintain your own identity.
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, still have your own interests and
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
Because it's like, even though like you want to have your core things in common and everything,
Mhm.
it's good to have some differences because it makes it interesting. It makes both parties unique. Like,
Mhm.
so that's how I look at it. And also too, like, yeah, it's good to spend time to yourself, you know, at least while you're single, like to reflect
Yeah.
and stuff. Like other people, like both men and women, like when they get out of a relationship, like they single, so they just get kind of buck wild,
Yeah. Yeah.
But but that's not the smart thing to do. Is just
It's
to
not.
sit back, chill, reflect,
Mhm.
and evaluate where you fell short and
Yeah.
stuff, and where you need to tighten up. When the next relationship presents itself, and also too, that's what I had forgotten about that. Uh, like when you're in a relationship, like you've been in a relationship maybe like 4 or 5, maybe 6 months, and then taking time to like, to get together and talk, like, kind of like do an assessment of the
Yep.
last 6 months of the relationship. Like, okay, are we progressing? Like, are there some things where one of us is falling short, where we need to tighten up, where
Mhm.
I need to tighten up, or where the other party needs to tighten up? Like that is
Yeah.
good, and a lot of people don't do that,
Yep.
you know,
They don't. They
and that's
don't.
something I want to start implementing,
For your, this is something you want to implement with yourself. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, the next relationship, like myself, and then with the next relationship, just kind of like, we've been together a while, because
Yeah.
let's do an
Those
assessment.
check-ins.
Like,
Yep. I think those check-ins are really important because they'll just you won't get down. You won't get 4 months into the relationship and you snapping off and you're leaving and you're like, well, what happened? But if you're doing a monthly check-in, you can nip stuff right in the butt. You can talk about it. You can hash it out. You can set up plans, to make it work. And then also, I know communication is number one, but also understanding how one another communicate is very important. as well. So if you're having those monthly check-ins and those date nights, like I said, I think people can avoid a lot of heartache and pain and disappointment in a relationship. They take the time out to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if, like, I would say do the check in. Like, even if things are going good,
Yeah.
still do
Absolutely.
like the
Still check-in.
assessment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you might want to go somewhere else. You might want to travel or take it to the next level and meet others' family. You just don't know. So yeah, even if it's going good, I think just a general monthly check-in is good to have, and also having date night with each other. Just because you copped each other don't mean you should stop doing things that it took to get that
Yeah,
person. Like
just continue.
keep that
Yeah, just
spice
continue.
going. Yeah, definitely keep it.
Yeah, I'm all about spice, like keeping that
Yeah,
fire going. I don't like, I don't like, I like boring, I like boring in the sense like there's no drama and stuff like
yeah,
that, but I like the positive excitement.
exactly. I like what Amber said. A relationship is like a job. You need a review. Absolutely,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Who's running
I love
the
what you
water?
said
Is that
about
you, Mark?
communication.
Is that
I'm
Mhm.
you
sorry.
running water? You know you got to be.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I,
That's what you said.
I love what I can't remember who said it now, but somebody mentioned I think it was you mentioned communication. That
Hmm.
is so important, and I think that a lot of the time that gets lost because it's something that we do so subconsciously that when we get into a new situation with a new human, whether it's a platonic friendship or an actual relationship, we don't take the time to learn the communication style of the other person,
Exactly.
learn their understanding and definitions of words. If you read the dictionary as a child, congratulations, not everybody did that. So the set one word could have two different meanings to two different people.
Yeah.
And so it could be something as simple as the vocabulary you use with your partner could trigger trauma.
Yep.
And if you learn their communication style and the things that are a part of their core and what they value and what they're fearful of and like their concerns with the relationship, and you learn to tailor your communication style to that person, and you don't use words that scare
Yeah.
them or make them clam up or make them go on the defensive, you have a
Hmm.
lot easier breeze of a
Yeah.
relationship. It's a lot easier to get to peace when you take the time to know your partner
That's true.
versus assuming because y'all get along and because the connection seems great that y'all just got it,
Yeah.
because
And
everything has to be worked on.
absolutely. And just knowing, I'm a comment what you said, but also, I don't know about y'all, but me as a kid, you couldn't talk back to adults. You couldn't speak unless you're spoken to. So how I grew up, or a lot of people in my generations, 80s babies, we were not conditioned to speak. We were not conditioned to express our emotions. So as a woman that's 41, I'm still learning how to give my emotions words because as a child, I was not allowed to put words with my emotions. And so when I was talking to this guy, the guy that I referenced earlier, he couldn't stand the word shut up. I cannot say shut up around him. It was a trigger for him. But the fact that he was in tune that, okay, this is a trigger word. Can you not use that word shut up? Can you use be quiet? Okay, now that I know that, of course, it's gonna take a while. I don't like using the word shut up either, but it doesn't trigger me as it triggered him. And I think when that self-awareness comes into place, you're able to pinpoint, okay, there's something about this word that does something for me. So I was able to honor, but also appreciate. He knew what words were trigger words from him. Nothing I specifically did, but what I said triggered him a whole nother memory of his child.
Yeah.
Another word he used to hate is handle. I'm like, oh, I love when a man can handle yada yada. He was like, can you not use that word? Like it just sounds so just slavery. It's a trigger word. Or if I say boss, he'd be like, don't say boss. Say like supervisor. And I'm like, okay. But again, him able to express what these words did for him, which were triggers, it allowed me to understand. It allowed me to change my verbiage a little bit more. So I think if we're all in tune with that, like you said, verbiage is very important, a huge factor when talking and communicating with someone. We must be safe space for one another. Absolutely, absolutely. And one thing I recognize with him, with both of us, we both have shared some deep things with each other. And you can't do that with most people. Everything that I've told him, he has not used to hurt me, and vice versa. And that's because we give each other safe space. We respect how we both was raised. And I didn't realize we both are kindred. Is that the word? Kindred spirits. So we're very much alike.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're right.
Both grew up with a lot of trauma. We
Mhm.
both grew up with parents who couldn't stand the sound of any type of noise. If there's a noise, we got to be like, okay, why are you making that noise? Like, we had to understand the reasoning behind it. But I like that we were able to understand each other's traumas and triggers at the end of the day. And I know a lot of people don't mesh when it comes to that. They usually just cut you off if you trigger them. So that's good.
Yeah. I grew up with that too. Like,
With
where I
the
wasn't
noise,
allowed to I wasn't allowed to express like
yeah, your
how I
feelings,
felt
your
about.
emotions. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's why I had to really sit back and ask myself, why am I feeling so disappointed because he didn't follow through on his word? It's not just because he didn't follow through. There's something truly there. And I had to really dig and reflect and evaluate, like Mark said, of what was the true root of me feeling that way. And I didn't know I was disappointed. I didn't know I was hurt and let down, but that's what those emotions was. And I was like, I feel like pat myself on the back. I feel like such a big kid because I was able to put words with the emotions.
Mhm.
And a lot of my people that grew up in my generation were not. But now that I'm aware of it, if I'm feeling a certain kind of way or if I'm offended, I have to ask myself. I sit back and relax. Why am I offended? Did this truly person really offend me, or did he or she remind me of something that someone else did? You know, really get into the seed of that thing. Like, where was this seed planted at and uprooted? You know, and that is changing my mindset to not always think negative. I don't know why most of us always instantly think of something negative versus positive, but that's helping me retrain my mind at the end of the day. Hey, Danny, thanks for joining. Uh-oh. Yeah. Mark, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. It says joining. Maybe that's the other young lady. So, yeah, I appreciate you hopping on. How's everything been with you?
Everything's good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, holidays around the corner, so
Oh, 4 days away.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like this is the time of the
So
year when you can slack off at work.
exactly.
The new year comes back, the New Year's come back, you gotta get back in line, start doing things accordingly.
Well, the jobs that I did have, like, we had Christmas break, so we had like 2 weeks off.
Yeah. So you kind of get in this habit and rotation of not doing certain stuff. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you hopping on. I'm gonna go ahead and it's okay. It's okay. Thank you for hopping on. I do not know how to pronounce your way. I'm just Batty. I'm gonna just say Batty. I don't want to mess up your name. But I know Amber. You in the medical field, so you can't slack. I appreciate you not slacking because we need you in them hospitals. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and end the conversation. I'll come on next Wednesday with another deep topic and conversations, and I'll just continue to share my experiences with you and the things that I'm learning as I date and just do the healing and get to know myself. And I hope
All
this
right.
podcast helps someone else, help you reflect and evaluate how you too will go on dating, how you see yourself, how you value yourself, how you carry yourself. At the end of the day, that's the whole point of this platform, is to just bring awareness to people and just share my healing process with others so it can help someone else heal and gain self-awareness. Y'all all have a good day, and remember, be
Thank you. Have a
bold,
good one.
be beautiful, most of all, be you. You too, Mark. Talk to you later. Thanks for joining, y'all. Have a good day.